Hello, everyone. Welcome to another week's live. Well, they're not weekly anymore, but you get the point. So I'll get everyone to start joining, hopefully. And I've got lots of exciting things to go through tonight. We're going to be announcing a giveaway, which is really cool. And I've got another exciting announcement, which I'll get into. So you'll see a bit of that in the quiz. I can already see we've got Chris joining. How are you, Chris? Great to have you here. I hope people have gone and checked out the interview I did with Chris the other week over on my channel, the first of the unique wealth building series. So I'm going to talk about that more, but go and check that one out after you've watched tonight's live. So tonight's question's a bit of a funny one. So the question is, should you join the Rooshock's Discord? So yes, definitely 100% or all of the above. So that obviously is one of the things I do want to talk about is I have started a Discord. So we're going to be using that to grow the community further on a more in-depth level than what I can through the channel. So I get so many comments on the YouTube channel and I reply, but it's really hard to get into that and go into a little bit more depth. And some of those conversations get missed. So I want a place where I can talk to people about things on it, maybe a bit more, and then other people can see those conversations. Because I think the best part about my channel is the conversations and the questions people bring. And that's why I like doing the lives, because I love answering questions that people have, because I can't think of everything to talk about. I don't know what everyone wants me to cover. So by going into and doing questions, it allows me to jump into topics that maybe I didn't think about. So one Bitcoin giveaway, yeah. I wish I could give away a Bitcoin. Maybe one day on the channel I'll be able to give away a whole Bitcoin. That would be great. So got a couple of people, D, and another one for D, all of the above. So we won't spend too long on that one. But the answer obviously is all of the above. So definitely head over to the Discord. The link will be here that you'll be able to hopefully click. If I've got everything right, whether you're on Facebook or whether you're on YouTube, you should be able to head over and join the Discord if you haven't. And I'll be talking in a second about the giveaway I'm going to be doing over there. So let's get rid of this. So yeah, I've started the Discord, like I said, to be able to extend this community beyond just YouTube. I've got a few other exciting projects and stuff planned that I'll be using the Discord to help with, but the idea of it is just, like I said, being able to jump into further conversations, ask me some tax questions over there. I know lots of people have always got their tax questions they want to know about, and you know, that's the place where I can jump in and provide that value to multiple people. If you need, send me a DM over there or whatever. However, it's just another way for you to get in touch with me. I'll try and get back to as many people as possible. We had a few conversations over the weekend and stuff, and there's some valuable stuff in there. And a few of those things have been able to shape some of the questions I want to talk about tonight. So as for those that are new here, I do jump in and we talk about different things as I go through a topic. So tonight's topic, I believe, is my thoughts on crypto. So what I'll do is jump in and I'm going to talk a little bit about crypto in general and my opinions on it, because I know I get a lot of people when I'm talking about the tax things, but sometimes I don't get to dive into some of my opinions on crypto itself, because it's definitely an interesting space. There's a lot of risk there. There's a lot of exciting things happening there. But yeah, that's something I want to talk about. After that, I'll jump in. I've got some really good questions people have asked over on Instagram. So if you aren't following me on Instagram, make sure you do, because it's another spot where you can chuck questions at me. And it's somewhere I'm planning on being much more active on Instagram and Twitter in 2022, getting those early New Year's goals in place. But I'll jump through some of those questions that people had asked. And then what I'll do is if anyone else does have any questions, throw at me in the comments. But the other thing I'm going to talk about, which I haven't prepared myself here with the giveaway banner, but I will get that up here. I'm giving away a copy of the new Ask Gary V book. So for those that can see, 12 and a half, the new Gary V book. I think I just stuffed that one up. But yeah, the Gary V book, 12 and a half. I'm going to give away a copy. So to enter the giveaway, you simply have to go to Discord. And in the Discord general channel, there is a post I've done of the book. Simply react to that post, and that will be your entry. And I'll announce the winner Sunday night. So make sure you've done it before then. So simply head over to the Discord and react to the photo of this book I've posted in the general chat, and that will be your entry. And I'm really excited. I've almost finished. I think I'm up to, I think it's about page 150 in the book. I got it the other night and couldn't put it down. It's really good for anyone that's looking at mindset of whether it's in employment or business. Gary just talks about the 12 and a half traits that he thinks are necessary for you to tackle a range of situations. And what's really good, he dives into actual examples. So whether it's you're an employee and you think you deserve a raise, of how you should approach that situation, or maybe someone else gets a raise over you, or you want to start a business and you're not sure how to approach it, or someone screws you over in business and how would you react to that? And I think it's a really good book, and I'd really highly recommend it to not just people that are interested in business, but just people that are wanting to learn more about mindset in general, because it's really good. So got a few comments here. So another guess of D, which we've already gone past that one. But Chris Wu, yeah, I've actually really excited to share the book with people. The more people, I've got a few copies here. If you might have seen my story or post I did on Instagram, I've got 24 copies. So one I've kept for myself. I've already given one away previously. Giving another one away tonight, and I really want to get these out to people that I think will really benefit from. So I'm excited. I'll be probably doing some more giveaways over the future. I've got some exciting things planned with them, but it's such a good quality book. I've got Crushing It. I've got that over here. So if you haven't read Crushing It, the other Gary Vee book that he did, his previous one, there's about 4 or 5 books before this one, but this one is really good as well. So yeah, I'll jump into, we've got another comment here. Hello, welcome. Thanks for joining. So we've got, as I said, tonight I'm going to talk about my thoughts on crypto. So crypto is a really interesting space, and I see a lot of interesting stories of where people are at with crypto and their journey of it. I see a lot of people that maybe don't have an understanding of how crypto actually works. So that's definitely something that concerns me, that they're putting money into it expecting, because there's also news articles. You read some of these headlines, and every second day we're getting a headline in the news of either, oh, Bitcoin crashes, people lose thousands, or Bitcoin skyrockets, meet the next millionaire from Bitcoin, and all these altcoins and stuff. And that's concerning when you're starting to see those types of comments. And I really want to educate people on, well, what's my thoughts on crypto, why I've got those thoughts, and maybe some of the things you can do to avoid some of that risk, or where you should look for that education. So do a comment from Chris. So great book, Crushing It. Yeah, Crushing It would be one of my favorite books that I have read. It's so good. I love how it goes into the details of certain things. So that's something I really love about the Gary Vee content, is he actually goes into examples. So those examples are really good, rather than just this generic, like over the top, like say if he'd done this, this book here and just went through the mindsets, but didn't show you how they can be used in practical situations. That's one of the great things that Gary does. So yeah, so my thoughts on crypto, what I'm going to do is talk about in particular Bitcoin and Ethereum first, because they're the 2 biggest cryptos at the moment. And I think that's always a good spot to talk about to start with, is, well, how are the big players and why do they exist and how they work? So Bitcoin is obviously the main one. That's the biggest market cap. It's been around for a long time. It's the one people typically know when they're starting to talk about cryptocurrencies. And Bitcoin it's changed a bit over time. Initially, it was like, oh, it was used a lot on the black market and it got a bad name for itself. And then it was just used by tech people. And then people were saying, oh, it could become a currency. And then people were saying, well, it's not going to work like that. I say at the moment, people are using it as a store of wealth to hedge against other investments. So they don't believe in fiat currencies and they're wanting to put their money in that. A lot of people are speculating on it still. But I think Bitcoin is around for a long time. I think it's going to stay, and I think it's probably going to be used as a store of wealth. I don't know whether it's ever going to become a currency. I can't see that currently. I know some countries are bringing it in as a currency, but right now I don't see that happening in the short term in particular, because I can see governments going down their way of making their own currencies that have got some kind of blockchain technology in them. But I'm not sure if Bitcoin's going to be able to overtake a lot of these big countries. But it's definitely something that I think has value, because so many people have determined it has value. How do you decide what's got value? Well, you need people to back it and say that's got value. And a lot of people have. And Bitcoin has obviously grown a lot in value over time. And I think that's a really interesting thing. So I think Bitcoin at the moment is being viewed similar to something like gold. It's a store of value. Obviously, it's very speculative still and very volatile, but I think that's kind of how people are treating it right now. Ethereum is the second biggest cryptocurrency at the moment, and Ethereum is something I really love the concept of, because I can see it's actually being used. So a lot of NFTs are built on the Ethereum network. The Ethereum network itself is what is allowing the Ethereum value to increase. It gets more technical than that, but in general, I can see Ethereum as a network is being used, and therefore I can see that having a value. And Ethereum has grown a lot in value over the previous, 12 months or so. And it is something that people are actually using. A lot of these cryptos have these roadmaps or these plans, and none of them seem to be actually hitting what they're planning to do. And Ethereum has that as well, and it's not necessarily hitting. There's a lot of talk about Ethereum 2.0 and all these things that haven't necessarily happened. But in general, people are buying Ethereum to buy NFTs, for instance, or they're running their smart contracts through the Ethereum network. So therefore, it has a use case. And I think you've either got to have something that's got a massive following to say that it has value, a la Bitcoin, or it's the originals. That's where some of that value is coming from, or you needing it to be used. And a lot of these cryptocurrencies aren't being used for anything at all, and they're purely being pumped and then they're getting dumped. And a lot of them don't hold a lot of value; they're not getting used. So I think that's why Ethereum is really interesting. There are other networks that are. The Polygon network is starting to be used a bit in that NFT and smart contract space, and I think a lot of, and I talk about NFTs a lot, but the NFT space is going to shape what some of these cryptos become, because they're going to be used in that instance. They're going to be used to deploy smart contracts, etc. So I think it's a really interesting one. So g'day, how are you? I appreciate anyone that is joining. So for those that are joining, I'll chuck this one back up again. Don't forget to join the Discord for your chance to win the copy of 12 and a half, the Gary Vee book. So make sure you do that. We've got another comment here. So yeah, Bitcoin's market cap is currently at 1.5 trillion AUD. So you can't turn around and say it's got no value, because people are determining it has such a strong value. So I appreciate the I'm reading something else. It's definitely got some kind of value, and people are attributing that. So, well, thank you, Chris. I really appreciate it. Chris has just donated $5 through a super chat, I believe it is. So great insights per usual, mate. Got to jump and set up my own live now. Appreciate your videos. Talk soon. Really do appreciate that. I don't ever expect anyone to hit that donate button when they're watching, but if anyone does, it does mean a lot to me. And I'm putting so much back into this channel. I've got so many exciting things, and I really want to reward the people that have been loyal to me on the channel. So that's, definitely, and I appreciate anything that goes, because all I'm doing is investing any of this money back into the channel. And definitely, really appreciate it, Chris. Thank you very much. So, that leads after we've talked about Bitcoin, we've talked about Ethereum. What about altcoins? And there's so many out there, and there's so many that are no good. I honestly think probably 98% of them have no value. They've got a value because people are buying them, but do they have any long-term value, or are you just going to get caught holding the bag and everyone else is gone? And, there was the one the other day, the Squid Game coin. Someone made that, and it turned out to be a massive scam. Someone runs away with a lot of money, and a lot of people lose their money. And it's always the people that come in the end that lose the money, typically the ones that don't have the money to lose. And a lot of these altcoin investments are incredibly risky, and you need to do research in that if you're actually looking at it as a genuine investment. But a lot of people are just gambling on these, and a lot of people are making a lot of money. And it's not to say that you can't make money off these things, but you've really got to understand the risks. And I see a lot of concerning comments on Facebook groups, or whether it's on Twitter, people not really understanding how crypto works and not understanding this. And they're the ones that end up getting caught out. So you really want to make sure you're doing your research and not just getting caught up to go, oh, XYZ coin is planning on doing this, and oh, this is their roadmap. Well, you want to make sure, have they actually doing something? Like, so well and good to put something in writing and go, this is what I'm planning on doing, but is it actually being used for something? And how is it going to have value? Like, is it going to be being used as a currency, or is it going to be used as something that has a network behind it that people are transacting on? Like, what's going to give it value? If you're investing, you need to have an understanding of, well, what is actually going to give that value? And crypto is such an interesting space. So many people are investing in things and not understanding what's going to make that go up in value beyond just more people investing. Of course, if everyone keeps buying something, the price normally goes up. But does that have an actual value to it? Or is that just people pumping it up and then a whale drops it and it drops in price? So if you can't determine how whatever you're investing is going to have value, and that goes to stocks. You don't invest in a company that you don't know how they're going to make their money or how they're going to improve the value, the overall valuation of that company. So if you invest in Amazon, for instance, you're backing that, well, Amazon are going to keep reinvesting in their business and growing it, and the profits are going to grow, and therefore the value of the company should grow. So if you're investing in a crypto, you need to have an understanding of what's going to give that value. And a lot of the altcoins, I don't think, have it. So well said, interesting topic. Appreciate that. Yeah, it is an interesting topic, and the world of crypto is very interesting. And I do love talking about it because I think there's so many exciting things, and I don't think crypto is going anywhere. Whether it goes down in value is a whole other story, but I think the concept of crypto isn't. So yeah, 95 to 98% of altcoins will probably disappear. And I think that's honestly pretty true. There's not, I think, especially when we see some some countries, I'm going to get to that in a minute, or central banks and stuff that start to implement blockchain technology, and some of these other, like Ethereum, for instance, is starting to build such a strong following on its network, even though it has its issue of high gas fees, etc. People are going to it and they're trusting it, and therefore they're building that, they're starting to become that spot, and that's going to make them stronger. It's going to become harder for other things to develop and compete against these things. It's just what happens naturally. You look at, the big social media companies, and it takes a lot to knock one of them off the perch, or even to get yourself up in that realm with them. So I think a lot of altcoins, eventually people are going to go, well, this isn't that. They're not going to have value, and that's where they could disappear. And I think altcoins and NFTs can be taught again. With an NFT, well, how are you going to determine, how is that thing going to raise in value? If you're doing it as an investment and you're wanting it to go up in value, what is going to make that go up in value? And I did a video the other day talking about NFTs again. And if you're going to invest in it, are you investing because you just like the artwork and you want to support an artist? That's fine. That's not that maybe not be an investment as such, hoping it goes up in value. You're wanting to support someone. Are you investing it because it's a game? You want to play a game, and maybe you can make some money off the game. Well, then again, that's a different thing. Is it a collection thing? Like an NBA Top Shop, you want to have a collection. Maybe you're not too worried about the concern. But when you're investing in something, or you're buying something with the hope that it's going to go up in value, you need to understand, and it's not to say nothing will go up in value, but how is that going to happen? So I talked about my V friend I purchased. Well, I purchased that because I backed Gary to grow the IP around these characters, and I like the value of the V conference, and I think people will want to go to that, so that's going to help determine that. It's Gary's first NFT project, so I think that holds value. So I have multiple reasons why I think that could have gone up in value from what I initially paid for it, which was correct, but I had logical reasoning why I did that. If I go and pay for XYZ dog project and not having any idea of, well, I don't know how it's going to go up in value, everyone's just going to keep buying it. Yeah, they have a good team, the roadmap. You don't have an understanding of what's going to give it value, or is there a person that's putting their reputation on the line to really want to push that value up, and they're putting themselves on the line, and they want to make sure that no matter what, they're going to make sure the people that have invested in them are going to, pay dividends in the long run. So the other thing I wanted to touch on was crypto as a main global currency. So I see a lot of people in the crypto industry that are real heavy, and they back crypto, and that's all well and good, but they then ignore any of the arguments against it. So I see a lot of people saying, well, Bitcoin's going to run the world in a few years, and I just don't see a lot of the countries giving up control just like that. Their currencies are what allows them to, one, collect taxes in normal instances, allows them to therefore, put infrastructure in place, run a health system, etc. And I just don't see them necessarily giving up that control just like that, especially some of these big global powers across the world. Their currency is very important to them. So I see a long time before we ever have a global currency. But I do see countries implementing blockchain technology into their currencies. So how that all works, I don't know. I'm not an expert on that kind of things. But yeah, I definitely see that kind of thing happening. So yeah, that's some of my thoughts on the crypto space in general. We could sit here and talk all day, but yeah, if anyone does have any opinions or comments and stuff, make sure you do drop them, because it's an interesting world. So I did have some questions that come through the week. So the first one I got was, what's something that's overlooked when claiming as a business expense? So I think one of the biggest things that people overlook is the small stuff. So they go, oh, that $5 purchase, who cares? Don't worry about it. And they forget about it. They throw a receipt out, etc. So make sure you're keeping all those little things. So I think that's something that people definitely overlook, is that they just chuck things out and they go, oh, it doesn't matter. But $10 a day it quickly adds up. $70 a week that you're potentially throwing away in deductions. So the easiest, I talk about it all the time, the easiest way to maximize your return is to claim everything you're genuinely entitled to claim. And a lot of people do forget about that. So we've got a comment here. So cryptocurrencies will require trust from masses to be adopted as a currency. And that's the thing, until the masses believe that crypto is here to stay and believe it has value, it's not going to get adoption. You need mass adoption to make things work. That's just how things work. And, until I suppose you've got 51% of the people backing it, you've still got a majority that don't believe in it. So until you got the majority believing in something, and it's going to take time for things to get traction, and how that all works and how it plays out will be interesting. So I've got this one. So where do you think crypto will be in the next 5 years? So we've obviously talked about some of that just then. I think it will have its place. What that looks like, I couldn't tell you. I think things like Bitcoin, Ethereum, I think they'll still be around. I think there'll be a lot of research into and a lot of, I suppose, adjustments into some of the renewable energy side of things and making sure that we're doing things in a carbon neutral way. For instance, I'm not an expert on climate change or anything like that, but there'll be a lot of focus on that area because that's been a controversial area. I think what's going to happen is that you're going to have a lot of altcoins drop out and die out. Now, there will be other players that come up and play on that game of Bitcoin and Ethereum. Maybe they don't make it into those top two, but there'll be other things that come up. And there'll be definitely some of these other big top 10 things that will die off. You only have to go back 5 or 6 years ago and look at the top 10 coins, and they differ to what they are today. So I think it will change over time as to what happens when it comes to where crypto is at in 5 years. But I think the blockchain technology will definitely be around. I think NFTs will have a much wider use case than what they do today. And I think there'll be a lot of really cool things happening as NFTs in smart contracts, etc. And I think that will be a lot of what the focus of mass adoption of crypto is ownership of things through blockchain. And it'll be the blockchain technology that eventually convinces people that, yeah, this is here to stay. So I've got some more questions, but I do have one that's just come through a comment. So what about stolen crypto and claiming at tax time? I've got a video on my channel about how stolen crypto works when it comes to tax. So the real basics of it is that you can claim that as a loss as far as it's got no value. So if you buy something for $100 and it gets stolen or you lose it, you will therefore deem that as a disposal for nothing and a real basic understanding. So you have a capital loss of $100 here in Australia. So go and check out my video on that. But there's a few things, I've got a few things on their website that you could help do to prove that happened, because you obviously need to have proof that you did own it at some stage, and you could show it in your wallet to show that, well, it's come out of your wallet, this is what happens. Or say you invest in something that's a known scam, there's normally, ASIC might have something about a scam watch on their website or things like that will help back up your case to prove that was the case, and proving that, well, it's no longer in my wallet, it's no longer at the exchange, it doesn't exist anymore. Here's an article to show that they're getting sued or something like that. These are the kind of things that you want to have to prove to back you up. So, okay, thanks for watch. Yeah, go and check that out on my channel. I've got heaps of videos on different crypto topics. I'm trying to cover all the big main questions I get all the time as an accountant. So I feel like I do have a good library there of crypto tax topics. So another one that I definitely have tracked with, I'm reading as I'm talking. So another one I've definitely covered is best ways to track transactions for tax purposes. So this was asked in a crypto sense, and crypto software is definitely the best way. I'm still getting 3 or 4 emails a week on, oh, I need help with tracking and I don't know where to start. And I've done reviews on Coinly, coin tracking, crypto tax calculator. Go and check them out. They're on my channel, but that is definitely the best way for you to track things for tax purposes. Plug in and get onto this as soon as possible. As soon as you start investing in something, you should be thinking about how it's going to track. If you start a business, you would be thinking, well, how am I going to keep my records? If you start a new job, well, how am I going to keep track of my deductions? If you invest in crypto, how are you going to do that? If you invest in shares, are you going to use something like ShareSite, for instance? You want to be thinking about these things from day one. So with crypto, it's great. These softwares are still a work in progress, and I wouldn't say any of them are perfect. But if you get onto it early, you can make it perfect for you, because you can get the API working, or you can work out what reports and how often should I be putting that in. And if you're missing a transaction, I think that's probably my biggest tip with, best ways to keep track of things is to keep on top of it and check it. So for instance, me, I don't, I might check my investments against my tracking software once every month, for instance, to make sure that, okay, everything's still in balance. It might take me half an hour, but I know that it's right. And that's the kind and then you might start to work out a pattern of how to do that quicker. But where people go wrong is they go, oh, I need to track 6 years worth of stuff and I've never done anything about it. And that's where I suppose they go wrong, because they're chasing their tail. I only spoke to someone this morning about, well, the exchange is closed down. They can no longer access that information. And that's when you start to fall into traps. So another question I had was, is day trading profitable? For some people, yes. For others, no. Day trading is whether it's crypto or whether it's shares, you really need to know what you're doing. It's really specialized area, and like anything, if it was easy, everyone would do it. And day trading is incredibly difficult, especially in crypto, because the markets there isn't as much history on how these markets move, and there's so many different things going on, and some of it isn't always logical. So I think you need to consider, are you actually going to spend the time to learn it? Because you are going to be likely up against people that are that have been doing this for years upon years. So how can you say that, you're going to learn that in 10 minutes and compete against them? So I think day trading is incredibly risky, and you really need to consider, is that actually right for you? So got a few more things. So crypto tax calculator is great. Been using it thanks to your advice. Very easy to use. So I'm glad. I think crypto tax calculator is really good. And the only reason why people don't like them or they don't work for people is because they've got such a real complex situation, and they haven't got onto it early, and they've got thousands upon thousands of transactions. And then you need to ask yourself, well, are you still actually an investor, or have you been running a business of trading, and your tax obligations may be slightly different? So we've got here, so can capital gains loss offset the rewards from staking? So I talked about staking on a previous video, and no, they can't. And this is where people can get caught out. So if you're staking, the rewards are going to be an income event. So that'll get included as an income event in your return. Now, if you then go and sell that asset later on, that reward that you received, and it's gone down in value, which can happen. You might receive a staking reward and it's worth $100, and you go and sell it and you only get 50, and you've got a $50 capital loss. A capital loss can only offset capital gains. So if you've got no other gains, you could end up with a massive capital loss, but also have this income from crypto that you've got to recognize. So it's definitely a bit of a tax trap that people have got to be careful of. And it's something you need to be considering. If you're staking and receiving rewards in that asset, what are you doing with those assets? Are you keeping them in that asset that you're receiving, or are you converting them straight away and maybe taking some of that risk away? So something to consider when you are staking. And yeah, it can be a bit of a tax trap that I've seen people get caught out with before. Now, it depends. If you've got lots of other capital gains and you've got things to offset, maybe it's not going to be as big an issue, but definitely something to consider. So what do you think of Theta? I'm not familiar enough with the project to be able to give my thoughts on it. Sorry. So I don't ever want to give my opinion on something that don't have enough knowledge on to go, yes, I like the idea or not. So I do try and steer away from giving too much particular advice on particular cryptos. That's not what I'm about. I'm about giving you the overall advice on tax, or maybe some of the education. Like I did a video the other day on, what is a crypto wallet. I'm happy to talk about Bitcoin and Ethereum because they're so big, and talking about what I think about the concepts behind them. As to whether they're good investments, that's not for me to call. So I do try and look into these things. So I'm happy to give my opinion on how something works. So if I did know about Theta, I would have, but I'm not as familiar with something like that. So if day trading or mining is crypto classed as trading stock, so for a lot of people that are day trading, that is likely how they'll treat it. So and it makes it nice and simple, is that you have opening stock, closing stock, you have your net deposits and withdrawals, and then that's how you work out your profit off of it. So because, for instance, if you start with nothing, you invest 10 grand and it's worth 15 at the end of the year, that's your closing stock, you've got 5 grand profit. And that's how the people will normally do it. Mining's a little bit different. That's how some people are doing mining. I've seen other people recognizing the mining at the values it comes in and then treating those mined assets as investment assets. Again, some of this is gray area because we're still so new into crypto, and there maybe isn't the ATO, there's not the tax law to back a lot of this stuff up of, well, this is how it should be done. There's a few ATO examples, but they might not be perfect yet, and things are changing in crypto so often. So yeah, it's definitely a bit of a watch this space thing. So there's been some really good questions. I really appreciate everyone that's asked questions. So like I said, we're doing the giveaway over, sorry, I'm scrolling through here. So we're doing the giveaway over on the Discord for those that are just joining of the 12.5, the Gary V book. So all you have to do is head over to Discord. I've got a post in the general channel where you can react to that post. That'll be your entry, and I'll be giving that away on Sunday. So make sure you do that. I've got some really exciting things planned that I think are going to excite a lot of people on this channel. And yeah, I'm spending a lot of hours doing a lot of research into certain things and just trying to provide as much value to the community as I can. So I definitely love when people share the videos, tell a friend to come over and watch them. I've recorded another chat of the Unique Wealth Building series. So that'll be going up hopefully Sunday. I'm going to jump on and do some editing after this. And that was a really exciting conversation I had around with a financial planner. So some of those, something that gets a bad stigma, but there are people out there doing good things. And I really think those chats are great. So I'm hoping to get someone on hopefully soon that does crypto mining, someone that does crypto investing, to bring some of this back to the crypto topics. But like I said, join the Discord. I really would appreciate anyone that does jump on there, because I think it's a great chance for me to provide as much value as possible to people, and really excited to have people over there. So do appreciate everyone that's joined and watched tonight, and hopefully we'll see you on the Discord. Jump over there, ask some more questions, and we'll continue the conversation there. So thanks, everyone.